morning. Welcome to Great Food, Great Stories podcast on Portland Culinary Radio. I'm Stephen Shalman, your host. Joining me this morning are the chef owner partners of The Waiting Room, a really cool restaurant here in Portland, Kyle Rourke and Tom Dunklin. Good morning, you guys.
Morning.
Morning.
All right, so tell me, what the heck is The Waiting Room?
Well, we're located at,
23rd and Kearney.
23rd and Kearney.
23rd and Kearney.
In Northwest Portland.
It's early for you guys. You've been up working late. I understand how that goes. And so what kind of food will I find if I show up there? When I show up there? Because you've already baited me with fried chicken. We'll get into that. But
yeah, we do fried chicken, oysters, and bubbles. A little Southern inspired with Northwest ingredients.
Yeah, we're in an old Victorian house in Nob Hill. We're probably the fifth or sixth restaurant or bar to give it a go.
And you do a lot of seasonal stuff with your menu.
Yeah, 100%. We use all local farmers, local ranchers, and we change our menu, every other week or whatever stuff's coming in season, whenever it's going out of season, and.
So, restaurant with Southern food, emphasis on fried chicken. You've got oysters, but you also have a cool bar.
Yeah, our bar program definitely focuses on, not traditional cocktails from New Orleans, but, kind of plays on the modern interpretations of New Orleans cocktails.
Awesome. And you have the gin fizz?
We do have a Ramos gin fizz. It's pretty amazing.
Sounds good. And so tell me about the fried chicken. I mean, I've got some friends in Portland. They go crazy. They love fried chicken, and I've heard some really good things about yours. You did bring some amazing things for me to eat. Alas, not the fried chicken, so you're just trying to bait me to come down there, which I will.
You got to come down and check it out,
All right, so tell me about your fried chicken. I'm curious about this.
So our fried chicken, it takes about 4 days to make. We brine it, we dry it, and we have a special flours that we blend together for in-house. We serve it with some of our house hot sauces, some grilled lemon, and some Be Local smoked honey. And then we got a couple sides you can get with it, and then we also have some small plates as well. But yeah, I mean, our thing with the fried chicken is, it's definitely it's on the bone. We take a whole chicken, break it down. It comes from Scratch Farms in Canby, Oregon. Not many people in Portland actually do fried chicken on the bone, but it's done in a traditional style, Louisiana style with a nice airy, flaky crust, and it's delicious.
Man, it sounds fantastic. So I always love sides. I mean, I love dishes, but I love sides because, that makes for better photos and just, et cetera. Tell me about some of the sides I should get with the fried chicken specifically.
Definitely the sweet potato Brabants, which is kind of a play on a classic New Orleans side with Brabant potatoes. It's just diced sweet potatoes tossed with a sauce mounire, a little breadcrumb, and fried parsley.
Oh my gosh.
And then another one, if you want to go starch and starch, which I highly recommend, is the Lyonnaise potatoes. It's just little half moon potatoes, sweet onion, and lemon butter.
Okay, so I own happinessismeltedbutter.com. You had me at lemon butter. Yeah, and that sounds like an incredibly magnificently simple dish. And I found some of the simpler, more dishes where they don't put like 900 ingredients, let the flavors shine through. Lemon butter, potatoes, fried chicken. Okay, I'm sold. That is really good. And do you guys do hush puppies?
We do. We do our own hush puppies with some of our house-made pimento cheese, which is really delicious, and some pickled jalapenos.
Oh, I love me some. Friends of mine own a food cart, and they do a pimento cheese mac and cheese. And then they blowtorch the potato chips. So it's just crazy. It's good. It's like nothing sexier, depending on how you roll, than a man cooking with a blowtorch or a woman cooking with a blowtorch. But either way, I love it. And then I've heard some stuff. Tell me about the shrimp. I keep reading about the shrimp.
So we do a play on the traditional New Orleans barbecue shrimp, which we do a ginger barbecue shrimp, which is shrimp that's tossed with a little bit of chili spice, and then we serve it with a ginger barbecue sauce, which starts with our house-made Worcestershire, a little bit of lemongrass, lemon and lime juice. Finish it with butter and cream, and then serve it with a sweet potato biscuit and candied ginger.
Ooh, that sounds magnificent. So when did you guys open?
We opened in March of 2016.
So you're coming up almost on 1 year now?
Yes.
And so because a lot of restaurants closed last year. A lot in Portland.
A lot.
And you guys made it. Congratulations. That's phenomenal. You must be doing something right. That is really good. Okay, so you guys do dinner service, and then you have a Sunday brunch?
Yeah, so our hours are, Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 10. And then we are open brunch from 10 to 2 on Sunday.
10 to 2, okay. And then
Yeah.
you take Monday off and try and recover.
The day of rest.
Correct.
That is good. All right, so where did the name The Waiting Room come from? Because I've been in a waiting room for babies, and I don't think that's what you're going after.
Well, it came from a band called Fugazi, Washington, D.C. area band. One of their frontmans, Ian McKay, has a long history of bands and influence on both of us. He started his own record company. He was just a big advocate of do-it-yourself, whether it's music, your own scene, anything. And it kind of stuck with us. So it's one of their more famous songs, and we went with it, and we took it as, let's just do everything as much as we can ourselves. I mean, from the remodel of the restaurant to getting people to make our plates, getting people to make our tables. We did the lighting ourselves. We painted. It just kind of, Ian McKay's ethos kind of stuck with us.
I love that. That's awesome. So you brought me a king cake donut, which is just during Mardi Gras season, and you brought me another delight. But before we'll eat those at the end. But talk to me about the Dawn. I want to know about this. The Dawn.
The Dawn. We got to give credit to our one of our bartenders who created the idea, and then we just kind of elaborated on it. But it's a Meyer lemon bacon fat donut that has a candied ham glaze, and then we top it with some of our fried chicken and some hot honey, which is Be Local honey that's mixed with some of our barrel-aged hot sauce. It's kind of our interpretation of the chicken and waffles, which we kind of refuse to do the chicken and waffles just because it doesn't really fit our motif of the Southern-inspired food, because chicken waffles really isn't from the South. It's kind of from East Coast, Upper East Coast, and the West Coast. But it's just our interpretation, and what goes better than fried chicken and donuts.
All right, tell me one more time what is in the Dawn, because I was just my eyes glazed over. It sounded so good.
It's a Meyer lemon bacon fat donut.
So a Meyer lemon bacon fat donut.
And then it's glazed with candied ham glaze.
Candied ham glaze.
And then we top it with some of our fried chicken and some hot honey.
Okay, so now do you have a special room we go alone and enjoy this in privacy?
We can make that happen. We got a third floor.
Oh my goodness, that sounds fantastic! And one of your bartenders helped come up with this crazy idea.
Yeah, he's also a photographer as well, but he kind of just sat there one day, and we were after a brunch shift, and he says, "Why don't you just serve a fried chicken with some donuts?"
All right, so you guys opened a restaurant together. You've made it just about 1 year. You've got really cool stuff going on. I always love to know people's story and journey and find out how they got where they're going. So, Tom, where were you born?
I was born and raised in New Orleans.
Okay, and where'd you go to high school?
Archbishop Rummel High School.
Archbishop.
You know what's funny? That's the first question. Anybody from New Orleans asks, says, "What high school did you go to?"
Because that matters.
No, it does. It does.
Because either we beat you in football or you beat us.
Yeah.
Football matters down there.
It does matter down there.
It does matter. Not so much in Portland, to some people, but not to the average.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same. All right, so tell me, where did your cooking journey first begin?
My first job was at 14 at Little Caesars. And the first day, ironically, the first day that I worked, we got held up at gunpoint.
Wow.
Yeah. And it says, "Welcome to the workforce."
And did you do any cooking before that, before 14? Cook at home or anything?
I mean, my aunt gave me my first cookbook when I was 8 years old. It was a Betty Crocker cookbook, and the first thing I cooked out of it was Impossible cheeseburger pie.
I had that cookbook myself when I was a kid, and I've made that cheese. I bet yours tasted better than mine, but that's okay. That is an awesome story. All right, so did you stay with cooking, or did you kind of explore other things professionally?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of explored other things, but then I went to college when I was going to college for accounting, which I ended up getting a double BA in journalism film, but just decided. I mean, I was working in as a sous chef and line cook at a couple places in college, and just really decided this is the path that I wanted to go on, just the creative side, the fun side, and really kind of playing with food. And
So what was your degree in?
and degree was double BA journalism and film.
Journalism and film. So were you on a film path?
I was, yeah. I mean, basically, I had a choice when I graduated to either go to LA to be a production assistant or become a sous chef at Delmonico in New Orleans, and made the choice of going back to New Orleans and working with Emerald in New Orleans.
Those are two very different life paths. What made you choose food over film?
I think it was more of just, the creative side. I mean, it's creative on both sides, but, I think really kind of playing with food and really especially growing in this industry and being able to know where your product comes from, and being able to have self-expression through food, and really kind of looking at guests and seeing the satisfaction in guests on an instant basis. It's really nice.
I wish people could see your face because it's obvious you love to cook. And it's not just, I love to cook, but I will cook at home for one person. And to cook professionally, you not just love to cook, but I bet you love to cook for like the room full of people and they all are happy and enjoying their stuff.
No, exactly. It's not even just at the restaurant. I mean, I cook at home. I cook for, friends, and it's about just gathering together and really kind of just expressing not just your thought, but also ingredients, and be able to express how you can meld flavors together, and bitter, sour, sweet. And just have fun.
So what makes for a good chef?
I guess you got to be a little crazy.
Or maybe a lot crazy. What else?
What else? I mean, it takes patience. It's not self-rewarding at first, but especially going through my life and how long I've cooked, and how many restaurants I've been through and how many states I've been in and cities, and it takes a little bit more time to see the satisfaction in it, and it just takes a lot of hard work and a lot of determination, but a lot of feedback too. You got to be open to feedback.
And why patience? Is that because of the people you get to work with?
The people, but also it's also bosses or owners, or it's even other line cooks or other chefs, and just really kind of just you're not always going to win at first, and you got it's constantly research and development, and you got to really stay honed and being able to make your vision come true.
All right. And so what year did you come to Portland?
Came here in 2007.
And come here professionally, been cooking professionally, based in Portland, working in Portland from 2007 till now.
Exactly. I had a short stint of moving to the East Coast for 2 years and then came back. But yeah, I mean, Portland's just an amazing city to see Portland grow, and the food scene that it's grown in since I've been here in 2007 has been immense. And it's an amazing city for food, and an amazing city for restaurants. So
you probably had choices. You could move different parts of the country, and so you ended up staying in Portland and opening a restaurant in Portland. Why stay in Portland?
I mean, I believe in just the belief of Portlanders and where their food's coming from, and just working with the people that we work with, from farmers, from Your Kitchen Garden to Sauvie Island Organics, down to Nibbleware Shellfish, down to Cattail Creek, and just working with the purveyors that we work with. It's just, you see their passion in producing the best product they can possibly produce, and being able to utilize that product and putting it on our menus is amazing.
And that's kind of a growing thing in other parts of the country, but I think it's really prominent here in Portland as opposed to not as prominent in some other parts of the country. You've traveled a lot. Is my sense right?
I agree with it. A lot of people talk it, but not many people do it, and people in Portland really do it, and they have a belief in it, and they understand it, and they it's part of the culture, and a lot of people want it to be part of the culture, but you have to be able to sustain it and be able to have people that believe in it.
And are the people that show up at the restaurant, some of them are just, knuckleheads, they don't know anything, they're just eating and leaving, but some people actually know a little bit more, is my sense. I've traveled around the country, and when I talk to people, they're just eating and leaving, whereas in Portland, they kind of actually care a little bit more. And have
they actually do. I mean, they actually ask where the product comes from and really understand it, and I mean, it's exciting to see and be able to talk with guests with that notion of the belief of knowing where a product comes from, and the sustainability of it and all that.
All right, so where did you first meet Kyle?
Well, we met friends of friends from San Diego. He called me up one day, well, not Kyle, but our friend called me up and said, I have a friend moving from San Diego up to Portland. Can you get him a job? And I said, send him in, and that's where Kyle came in.
And what year was that?
That was 2007, right?
2007. Yeah. And so you ended up staging. And then so you immediately started working together, cooking together, mm-hmm. And then more than a few years, so 9 years later, you end up opening a restaurant together.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, that is a cool story. Must have been good chemistry. You guys seem to get along okay, and you've made it a year. You haven't killed each other. So.
No, exactly.
And I see no knife wounds. So, all right, Kyle. So I'm curious about your story. So where were you born?
I was born in Spring, Texas.
Spring, Texas. All right, we will try not to hold that against you. No, I'm just kidding.
Then I moved to New Jersey, so you can hold that against me.
How old were you when you moved to New Jersey?
I think I was about 2.
2, okay. Because if you'd been much older, that would have been a huge culture shock going from New Jersey, or from Texas to New Jersey. So where did your cooking journey begin?
My journey began pretty much. My grandfather was a chef on a boat. He was in the industry. he was one of the first males I saw that made it cool to cook. Growing up, that wasn't the thing. And then a little later on, that kind of planted the seed, just watching my dad teach himself how to cook, and staying with him. And he would always be trying new recipes, teaching himself new techniques. And it just kind of ingrained it that this is something you can do as well. Just a journey to learn.
So tell me about your first cooking job.
Well, first job doing anything in the food industry was at Coneheads in New Jersey. It's an ice cream shop. I was a dishwasher.
I think all great chefs start out as dishwashers.
This guy was special. He had all these wax corrugated boxes that he would put the spun ice cream in, and he would reuse them. So I would wash them. I would wash these boxes, and you wash a box so many times, it's going to fall apart. And if one fell apart, he'd come at you aggressively, but did you break my box? I just washed it. And then the rest of the night, he'd just be staring at you doing psychological warfare. So it was a good jumping off point on my food journey.
Okay, so that was your first job in the business where you're washing dishes. Where's your first job you're actually like doing something that involved cutting of anything?
That was at the Jersey Shore, a little place called Octopus's Garden. That guy was just as special. He took me in as a dishwasher, but eventually started showing me things, and I moved over to pantry.
And what were some of the things you did early on when you were first starting out?
Oh, Caesar salad, definitely. Tiramisu, peeling shrimp, shucking oysters, just the basic grunt work stuff.
And those are all important ingredients to the lifestyle there at the Jersey Shore.
This is true.
That's phenomenal. Okay, so what year did you come to Portland?
I came to Portland I moved here in 2007.
And why Portland? What brought you here?
Earlier on, maybe around 2001 or 2, I came through kind of doing on a skateboarding tour, and skated Burnside. Some people took me in and just showed us this great time and showed us around the city, and I was just enthralled. I just put a little check mark next to it, and someday I was going to return.
And did you come to Portland for food, to do food?
Yes, I kind of made that choice. I was at a crossroads. I was living in California. I was either going to move to Austin and pursue music, or move to Portland and pursue food.
I love me some Austin. My friend Tiffany Harlick lives out there. Great food writer, great food scene there. But you were going there, good music scene too, actually. Probably most people I think of it as a food scene, but it's the music scene. So it was either music for Austin or Portland for food.
Yep.
And why did you choose food over music?
Ultimately, I think they're very similar. That you're putting yourself out there in a way. You're going to leave yourself open to criticism. And ultimately, I thought music for me is it's mine. It just makes me happy. It's too personal to put out there and take the criticism. Where food, at least you get to eat it and enjoy it. And while there's still criticism, it's just something that I could learn a little faster. I kind of tapped out at music. I ain't gonna get any better.
So are music for you, music and food similar?
Yeah, I think they're very similar. At least for me, is the creative process and just going through the repetition and staying on top of everything.
So when did you first get in your noggin that you wanted to own your own restaurant?
I started that probably, I think since I've worked for mostly independent owners, I knew I would eventually do something.
Something self-employed?
Yes. But pretty much, after we met Tom and we were working together, we started talking about projects. And
So that was back in 2007?
Correct.
So 2007, you have some kind of inkling, talk about it, hoping for it, and then 9 years later it comes to fruition. I think people don't appreciate, that time that it takes to put it together. But it does. That's just kind of how it works. So what makes for a good restaurant? You've got a whole year under your belt, but you've been in many, many restaurants. What's your opinion? What makes for a good restaurant?
I think you need to be genuine, you need to be enthusiastic, and you need to be flexible. And that's as a business owner, restaurant owner. And I think those things can make your restaurant great because the guests can see all those things. If you're not genuine, you're not enthusiastic, and you're not flexible, guests aren't going to return. And in this day and age where everything's pretty transparent with social media and just the physical space of our place is pretty small, people can see what we're doing, and how we're doing it and how we interact with guests, and what we're really putting ourselves out there.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people that run any kind of business, particularly hospitality or food service, is that people can sense your culture. They don't even realize they are. And it's funny to meet people that have a business and they don't even know that their culture is exposed. They don't even know, like, your shirt's off as far as culture goes. We can see your culture. Is culture a pretty big deal for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think culture is part of the business. You know, you're building your brand. What your brand is part of your culture. You know, and it's, if people, like you just said, I mean, people can see what your brand is, what your culture is through how your employees act, or how your menu's developed, or how, you know, your service is. And it's something it's crucial in this industry to actually be able to express, for guests to see that and guests to come back.
Okay. What advice would you have for people wanting to open their own restaurant?
Don't do it.
So if there's some chef listening to this podcast and it's their 2017 is their 2007, and 9 years from now they're going to have a restaurant, what are some tips you would give them as they walk along that journey?
I mean, there's ups and downs. It's you know, definitely choosing the right partner to be with. You know, you can't go at it alone. I mean, it's something that, it's tough work. You know, it's being an own business owner. It's not just cooking. It's not just, you know, creating menus. It's not just hiring the right staff. It's a tough thing, but it's rewarding in of itself. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, our plan has gone through so many revisions, and we've gone with the ups and downs. The planning phase of it is extremely important. Can't stress that enough. But then when you are ready to open the doors, you got to be completely flexible, because your business might go a different direction that you didn't plan for.
And what is that? I can't remember the phrase exactly, but every battle plan's good until the battle starts.
That's exactly.
That's a rough paraphrase. Forgive me, those of you listening to podcasts that know the exact quote, but you knew what I meant. All right, so as we close out, I'm gonna start with I'm gonna make this my entree and then have the other thing for dessert. So what is it? This beautiful thing that I'm eating right now?
That is the King Cake Donuts. So we run this from King's Day, which is January 6th, to Mardi Gras. Every Friday we run it as a special. Just we give it away if you get a order of fried chicken, and it's kind of basically, it's tradition for New Orleans during Mardi Gras. Every Fridays we do a king cake that has a baby in it. Whoever gets the baby buys the king cake the next Friday, and so we actually put little toy animals in there sporadically, and whoever gets some of the toy animals gets little prizes.
This is a great donut, man. I love this. This is awesome. Okay, and what's this other thing? This is what I saved for my dessert.
That's we're bringing back a classic, which is the bacon-wrapped jalapeno that's stuffed with Toulouse sausage and a little bit of cream cheese, and we served it with some of our house-made Worcestershire.
All right, so I have a friend, Aaron Wakamatsu. He can drink ghost pepper sauce, and I'm not kidding. But I'm a wimp. So how hot is this going to be? Am I going to suffer?
It's a little spicy. It's still got, the jalapeno's got some heat.
Wow, but I'm not dying so far. And this goes perfect with beer.
Yeah, that's something that it really does go well with.
That's the handy thing of recording the podcast and brew. I happen to have a glass of beer right here with me. I know you guys, your restaurant, you have a really cool cocktail bar, but you also have some craft beer on tap as well. So if I'm into cocktails, I can go there, or I can get a craft beer.
Exactly. I mean, our beers change with the season, just like kind of beer does. We definitely try to utilize local beers as much as we can. I mean, we have about 6 beers on tap that we kind of fluctuate, you know, from different breweries in Portland.
This bacon-wrapped jalapeno is phenomenal. This is really, really good. I want just a whole bunch of these, you know, just to watch a football game or a baseball game with. I just think that's perfect.
It is delicious.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the Great Food, Great Stories podcast. I'm going to come by. I'm going to take pictures of the chicken. I'm going to eat the chicken. And maybe those potatoes lyonnaise. I'm still thinking you said lemon butter. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I want some lemon butter on my lyonnaise potatoes with my fried chicken that's been brined for 4 days. It takes 4 days, right?
It takes about 4 days, which is... Yeah.
That's serious. You're taking chicken to a whole other level when you do 4 days.
If you're going to put fried chicken on the menu and pronounce it, you got to make it right.
Better be good.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Wish you all the best success at the waiting room, and I will be by soon. Thanks for joining us on the Great Food, Great Stories podcast.
Thanks for having us.